magnet and throw it into the magnet and make a bed of the little crystals around the magnet. Now the magnet becomes paramagnetic. And the best way to do that is to take two plants and put one of this under the plate of that under one and leave the other one alone for a control. The other plant that's got the paramagnetics under it will be twice the size. I showed this to the Mexican Tomato Growers Association. I had a man named Nose, and he started raising tomatoes for the whole trailer park on 2 or 3 bushes. And they sent a man named Miller, who was a genetic engineer and all this other stuff from the Mexican Tomato Growers Association. And he just moved in my house. And he smoked cigars. He was a real pain, and we had him there for 9 months. And he wrote a paper on magnetic stimulation of tomatoes. And the paper went something like this. It says, it's no use to us to have 200 tomatoes on one bush. It has to be picked at different times. It's economically feasible to have the plants that we have that produce 18 to 19 tomatoes that all come green at the same time and have long shelf life. We're not interested in the taste of the tomato. That was Dr. Miller. Jackson Hole, Wyoming, his name is Jackson, who is doing a lot of the work on the magnetic stimulation of these plants, and he's wrote 2 or 3 books. He sells his books for about $100 a piece, but he's got a small thin book coming out, Think Like a Tomato. It should be out this year. He's an elderly man, but he's a very brilliant man. I have a little paper that was in one of the little magazines in 1923 that he wrote. And he said hydrogen would be the fuel of the future because we can get 900 cubic inches of hydrogen out of every cubic inch of water. And we could get 1,200 cubic inches of oxygen out of the same 1 inch. Now, we've always maintained it takes a lot of electricity to separate this. It doesn't. You can actually break water with 30 mirrors on a 100-degree temperature day. And Dr. Traum in France has done this. There's a plant outside of Riyadh that makes hydrogen with sunshine and salt water with a byproduct of fresh drinking water. Derniak here, he's with Cornell University for all of his life. He told me last year, he said, Joe, go make a couple of these Oregon boxes, make the small ones, and see if we can't get the vibrations in water. And I started from scratch, and in about 6 months, he handed me $7,000 altogether, and I spent about twice that because everything on prototypes, and we did build 2 of them. I was going to bring one up here this time, but we're kind of premature. But they are working, and we can do the illustrations on it. We can show chaotic water going through them, and it doesn't have to go through the box. It just has to be attached to a line. And we are building them with dissimilar metals. We're putting the Ark of Covenant wood in them. We're putting the gold foils on the back of it in the bottom, and we're building an Oregon pressurized crystals inside it, and we're squeezing it with the 36 pounds pressure inside and then attaching it with a boat onto a water line coming into a house. I think we've got something going. Hand has done some work. He's put recordings in the iron oxide crystals, and he's put them in little tiny caps like Coca-Cola caps on the bottle, and he puts these out, and these bugs are looking for some. All they do is end up drowning themselves like ants and various little critters, and he'll be patenting that this next year.